Deployment of more Marines now comes just a day after the Secretary of War and the Commander-in-Chief publicly began talking up the need for roughly $200 billion more in funding. With me now, three-star Vice Admiral, retired Deputy Commander of U.S. Central Command, Robert Harward, with us tonight. Admiral, appreciate the time. There's a lot going on. I want to try to start off with where we are and where we might be going. Thank you for the time tonight. So we just had this post from the Commander-in-Chief. He said the objectives, one, completely degraded the missile capability and launchers. Two, we're destroying Iran's industrial base. Three, we've eliminated their Navy and Air Force. Four, we're never allowing Iran to even get close to nuclear capability. Is that where we are this evening? Is that your assessment?
Well, Blake, let me start off by first saying Happy Nowruz to the Iranian people. That's their Nowruz, their new year. That's today in Iran as the sun breaks there. And traditionally, that's one of the most happiest celebrated occasions in Iran every year. That's obviously not going on now. But if it leads to a government that will not oppress them and kill them next year, this will be their most historic Nowruz ever. So my heart's out to the Iranian people. So back to the president. The president's made it very clear what his objectives are. They're achieving them, as he just reiterated. What he's been a little more nebulous is his end state, and very astutely so. He doesn't want to reveal any of his options or what he's done, and that starts from the very invasion of the country. So he's been very deceptive to keep the Iranians off their guard. But what he has said, and this is all part of it, opening the straits, taking out the missiles, that he demands an unconditional surrender. And what that means is we will dictate the terms to whatever government will be in place. So there will be no nuclear program. They'll hand over their material. They will not have ballistic missile programs. They will not threaten the Straits of Hormuz. Those are the conditions he dictates. Now, the question will be, are the Iranian people going to accept anyone who's part of the IRGC who have blood on their hands? So again, back to this, opening the straits, bringing in force to set up options to establish a beachhead on Kargil and Bandar Abbas or anywhere else are all options. Only he knows.
I hear you on options, Admiral, but if we step back here for a second, I saw the Commander-in-Chief put an armada off the coast of Venezuela, and we know how that ended. I saw the Commander-in-Chief put the two biggest strike carrier groups around Iran, and we know where that went. And tonight, that's the reason why I set that up is because tonight I also know what we're reporting on, which is more Marines into the area, into the theater. And it leads me to wonder if that, given everything that we've seen so far and how President Trump has operated in the recent months, if that means that the Marines are going in on the ground, or is it there purely for options purposes, as you outline?
Well, God bless our Marines first. No better force to be in place. But don't just think of boots on the ground. Consider maritime interdiction operations. Do they want to start boarding every ship, specifically the Iranian ships who are trying to move their own oil, their ghost fleets? The Marines have those options. Are they going to be involved in counter-mine operations to go and search every ship and boat in the region? So again, there are a wide variety of options those forces give him, not just ashore, but afloat. They are the amphibious force of our U.S. military. So they can touch every ship, any boat, and part of the Gulf and the mining operations, they'll put them on Dow, they'll put them on commercial ships. Those Marines can go on every one of those platforms to ensure they don't have mines on them, just as we did with the war with Iraq. So it just gives the president so many more options. But like you say, when he usually puts them in place, he's going to use them.
Right.
And that's a strong signal to the regime and the people of Iran. So this New Year's, this Nowruz is going to be very special in Iran for a whole host of reasons.
That's why I bring it up, just because I know what I've seen in the recent months, and we know what's happening right now. Let me leave you with this, Admiral. The president saying today the Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. The United States does not. If asked, we will help. It seems like maybe there's a little negotiating going on there, but if you take him at his word that the other nations have to deal with this, what are the potential consequences there?
I think they will ultimately. So I don't know if it's a consequential negative. It's a positive move. You heard from the Prime
I wasn't
Minister
suggesting
of Japan.
positive or negative either way. I was just sort of curious where it goes.
No, I think it's important. This is a global effort, and the impact it has on the world economy. Everyone has to understand what an evil empire this is. For decades, they've been killing people, exporting the revolution, threatening the Gulf, and now they're doing it. So I think all countries are going to come to the conclusion and want to be a part of this. And as you noted, this difference where strikes of aircraft were defensive operations, how these countries frame that to ensure they have the political support of their countries is important. Remember, Japan is a defense force more. So are they going to help defending ships? And I think ultimately all of them will come to the conclusion it's in their own best interests.
Admiral Harward, appreciate the time. As I mentioned, I hope you come on back. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Blake. Always good to be with you.
Of course. All right. By the way, Israeli intelligence finds that within Iran's Revolutionary Guard, some 10,000 troops right now are dead. Desertion rates are rising in some units, reaching all the way up to 90%. As the president saying, we've eliminated their Navy and Air Force as well.